If you look up strange situation on Google or any other search engine for that matter, you're going to find out a lot about Mary Ainsworth's study examining attachment between children and their parents. In that experiment, children were left in a room for around 20 minutes while parents and other adults entered and exited the room. The objective was to see how the child reacted when the parent left and then re-entered the room, and draw conclusions about that child's attachment type. While that situation was certainly strange, I'd argue that if you were to venture down to West Lafayette, Indiana, you'd find a set of circumstances even more bizarre than Ainsworth's famous experiment, but also one that could potentially yield championship results. Now let me introduce you to Purdue's strange situation. In order to fully grasp the oddities of Purdue basketball in 2021, we need to venture back all the way to 2012 when a young A.J. Hammonds stepped foot on campus for his first season as a Boilermaker. This wasn't Painter's best team, they finished 16-18 overall, but Hammonds impressed as he averaged 10.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. Something must have clicked that year, because ever since the 2012-13 season, it seems that Painter has made it a priority to find massive big men to stabilize his roster. When Hammonds was a senior, it was Caleb Swanigan as a freshman to help take over the reins in 2015-16. After Swanigan won Big Ten Player of the Year during his sophomore season, he decided to leave Purdue early and enter the NBA draft. Was Matt Painter phased? No, because he already had a 7'2" Isaac Haas in the rotation, who was actually the team's second leading scorer behind Swanigan that year. After Haas's successful senior year that saw him average close to 15 points and 7 rebounds a game, the trend still continued. It was now Matt Harms, a 7'3" center from the Netherlands who controlled the paint for the Boilermakers in a season that saw Purdue come seconds away from his first Final Four since 1980, behind the heroic and downright jaw-dropping efforts of Carson Edwards. In the 2020 season, Harms was expected to have a pretty big year, but his role never really increased, and he actually lost his starting position for most of the year due to a sophomore by the name of Trevion Williams. Harms decided to transfer after that season, and it now became the Trevion Williams show in 2021. Williams was phenomenal last year, as he was a key part of getting Purdue a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, while also taking home all Big Ten honors as he averaged 15.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game. During Williams' breakout campaign, however, there lurked another big man hiding in the shadows of Mackey Arena. This one, perhaps the most promising of all. His name? Zac Edie. As a freshman, the 7'4", 285-pound big man put up 8.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 1 block a game, while just playing under 15 minutes a night, and it seemed like he would be set to take over the full-time center responsibilities as a junior, once Williams graduated. But Edey's rapid development has perhaps accelerated his own timeline, because to open the season, it's Edey, not preseason All-Big Ten player Williams, that is now starting for Purdue. This leap from Edey can probably be represented by his performance at the FIBA U19 World Championships this past summer. Playing for Canada, Edey put up 15 points and 14 rebounds a game to go along with 2.5 blocks. Perhaps Edey's talent was just too much to ignore. We all remember the 2015 Kentucky Wildcats, the team that had such an overload of talent that they just couldn't possibly limit their rotation to 7 or 8 guys. Famously, Kentucky implemented a 10-man platoon system that saw nobody get more than 26 minutes a game. Purdue right now is doing something along those lines, but on a much smaller scale. Because Edey and Williams are traditional big men and that they aren't great in space defensively, operate best on the block, and offer limited floor spacing upside, this presents a problem. What are you supposed to do when 2 of your 3 best players play the same position and can't feasibly be on the floor at the same time? This is literally like if the Buccaneers acquired Aaron Rodgers alongside Tom Brady for whatever reason. You have 2 awesome all-time talents, but the usefulness of each is limited because you can't feasibly play 2 quarterbacks and get the most out of each of them. Unless, however, I'm a football genius and have laid the groundwork for a revolutionary 2-quarterback offense. But I digress. Right now, Matt Painter is attempting to address this issue by just having the 2 split minutes. The good thing is that no matter what, one of Edey or Williams is on the floor at pretty much all times. The downside, you can never realistically put your 5 best players on the floor all at once. While Williams and Edey both play the same position, they are unique in their own ways. Williams shows much greater feel as a passer, he's quick to react when doubled, and overall he seems to play with a lot more confidence and poise, which is expected from a senior. And why does his passing work so well? Because he's also an extremely efficient scorer on the block. Otherwise, he wouldn't be generating double teams in the first place. Defensively, Williams is no slouch either, as he has a great motor and has great timing on contests. Edey, on the other hand, is even more of a load to handle. He can grab rebounds without jumping, set monster screens, and contest shots in a fashion similar to Rudy Gobert. Edey brings that intimidation factor that only a rare breed of shot blockers seem to have, and because he's so massive, players have to struggle to get around him despite Edey not being the quickest on the perimeter. Watch how he just swallows this Indiana State guard. Shot goes in, but damn, that takes a lot of work. Together, Edey and Williams are averaging 30.5 points, 19 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and close to 4 blocks per game. And if you treat them as a singular entity, that's a lock for Wooden Player of the Year.
You know, maybe you and Ambrose could team up. He's big. You might form one mega person. Okay, forget that I just said that.
And of course, when you add sophomore guard Jaden Ivey to the mix, who at the moment is a probable lottery pick, opponents are going to have to deal with constant rim pressure from the two big men, and from Ivey, who is one of the more dynamic athletes in college basketball. While those three players are all extremely important to what Purdue will accomplish this season, it's really going to come down to auxiliary scoring. Can Purdue's role players make teams pay for doubling Williams or Edey, or over helping to stop an Ivey drive? Players like Sasha Stefanovic, Isaiah Thompson, Caleb First, Brandon Newman, Eric Hunter Jr., and Mason Gillis are going to have to capitalize on the abundance of open shots they'll get this year. Last year, Purdue really struggled as a team shooting from three, as they only knocked down 33.3% of their attempts, which was good for 189th in the country. If they want to make a deep run, they have to shoot the ball better, plain and simple. Personally, I think Purdue can do it. Usually, the idea of not playing your 5 best players at once scares me, especially in college basketball where the talent drop-off between your starters and bench can be quite significant. But Purdue, who returns arguably their top 8 contributors from a year ago and adds freshman Caleb First, might have to make me eat my words. This team, for as strange as it is, has a real chance to make some noise in the tournament. And that is a situation I definitely want to be in. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think below.